You want to discover where you're insufficient. Now, it's painful. It's painful to encounter an impediment in the form of someone else's opinion that might show you where you're blind and ignorant, or willfully blind even. But the advantage to that is you can rectify the error, and then as you move forward, you're stronger. One of the things I taught my kids, and I hope at least somewhat successfully, that you should always ask a stupid question. And that doesn't mean the sort of question that someone who wasn't paying attention would ask. If you're listening to someone and you don't understand what they're saying, and you reveal your ignorance, and maybe you're in a room and you think you're the only person stupid enough to not get it, which is very rarely the case, by the way. The thing is, though, if you reveal that ignorance to yourself and to the other person, they can rectify it. And if you do that 1,000 times, you're not ignorant anymore. If you ask 1,000 dumb questions and you listen to the answer, then you know 1,000 things, some of them deep, that you didn't know before. So that's the advantage to searching your soul, let's say, for the unrequited sins and attempting to atone. That's not a delusion, right? It's an attempt to set yourself right. And so you write an autobiography because you need to know where you are and who you are right now. Because how the hell are you going to plot a pathway to the future unless you know where you are? And then you need to write about the future because you aren't going to hit something unless you aim at it. That's for sure. And lots of times people won't aim at what they want because they're afraid. The reason they're afraid is because if you specify what you want, you specified your conditions of failure. You know when you fail. And it's better just to keep it foggy. It's like, well, I don't know if I'm succeeding or failing, but, I can't really tell. Well, great, except you can't hit anything you don't aim at. And so the Future Authoring program is like it's an attempt to have you articulate your character. And so is the Past Authoring program. Who are you? What are the things that have shaped who you are? And, you may find that some of that writing makes you emotional. I would say, if you have a memory that's more than 18 months old, roughly speaking, and when you bring it to mind, it has an emotional impact, especially a negative emotional impact. It's like part of your soul is stuck back there. And I know that's a metaphorical way of thinking about it, but what I mean is that the reason that you still experience the emotion is because you have not solved the problem that situation faced you with. It might be a real problem, like maybe you got tangled up with someone who was really bad, and that's rough, man, because you got to come up with a theory of malevolence to deal with something like that, and that's no joke. But if it still produces emotion, it means you haven't solved the problem, and your brain is still tagging it as threat. It's a part of your territory that you did not master. Threat. And until you take it apart, and articulation really helps that, writing really helps that, then you're not going to free yourself from its grip. Put yourself together. And then maybe if you put yourself together, you know how to do that. You know what's wrong with you, if you'll admit it. There's a few things you could polish up a little bit that you might even be able to manage in your insufficient present condition. And so you might shine yourself up a little bit, and then your eyes will be a little more open, then you can shine yourself up a little bit more, and then maybe you could bring your family together instead of having them be the hateful, spiteful, neurotic, infighting batch that you're doomed to spend Christmas with. So then you fix yourself up a little bit, kind of humbly, because, God, you're a fixer-upper if there ever was one. And then you got to figure out, can you figure out how to make peace with your idiot brother? And probably not, because he's just as dumb as you. So how the hell are you going to manage that? And so then maybe you get somewhere that way, and your family's sort of functioning, and you find out, well, that kind of relieved a little bit of suffering, although it reduced the opportunities for spiteful revenge, and that's kind of a pain in the neck. And so then you get your family together a little bit, and you're a little clued in then, at least a bit, because you've done something difficult that's actually difficult. You're a little wiser, and so then maybe you could put a tentative finger out beyond the family and try to change some little thing without wrecking it. It's like our society is complex, and we teach our students that they could just fix it. It's like, go fix a military helicopter and see how far you get with that. It's like, what are you going to do? You're like a chimp with a wrench. Whack. Oh, look, it's better. It's like, no,
It's not better. Things are complicated, and to fix things is really hard. And you have to be like a golden tool to fix things, and you're not. How do you overcome the suffering of life? Is be a better person. That's how you do it. Well, that's hard. It takes responsibility. And I think, if you said to someone, you want to have a meaningful life? Everything you do matters. That's the definition of a meaningful life. But everything you do matters. You're going to have to carry that with you. Or do you want to just forget about the whole meaning thing, and then you don't have any responsibility because who the hell cares? And you can wander through life doing whatever you want, gratifying impulsive desires for how useful that's going to be. And you're stuck in meaninglessness, but you don't have any responsibility. Which one do you want? Well, ask yourself, which one are you pursuing?
I've realized that it's scary when you find a thing that you're going to fully commit yourself to the pursuit of, especially if it's excellence that you're going after, because there's no more room for your inadequacies to hide. There's no more ejector seat, right? I've committed to this.
Commit to at least one thing.
As hard as you can, and see what happens.
I had a rule with my clients because, you might say, well, I've gone halfway down this path and I found out it's wrong. Well, how do you distinguish that from just giving up? Well, that's a really hard question, right? It's a moral hazard because it's inappropriate to continue in a direction you now realize to be wrong. It's also inappropriate to give up and use that rationalization as an excuse. And how do you distinguish?
Especially seeing as we're not transparent to ourselves.
Well, right, exactly. So that is genuinely a moral hazard. You can change course as long as the next thing you do is equally or more difficult, because that's a check against just giving up. So you want to discipline yourself so you can get yourself organized so that you can go in a particular direction, so that when you find the right direction, you can really go in that direction. And that does require an apprenticeship of sorts.
This thing is hard,
and it might not matter in some sense exactly what the apprenticeship is, as long as it is rigorous. Right? And so that's sort of a bridge between moral relativism and moral absolutism. There's lots of games you can play. It's not that obvious a priori which is the best game, so that's kind of a morally relative stance. There's multiple playable games. But then the absolute is, but you have to play one of them. You have to learn to play one of them. You have to become an expert at least one of them. And then that's not a relative proposition. And I believe that's true. That seems to me to be the case. So you want to commit to something. And then when you commit to something, you require yourself to bring all of your disparate components moving in a single direction, united in a single direction. So it's a unifying act. And then once having been unified, well, then you can bring that unity to bear on a variety of different tasks. But you have to bring it together first. So, and that makes sense developmentally. You see children start out as a disparate bundle of motivations and emotions, sort of warring with one another. And then they can integrate that into single games that they can play with themselves. And then they integrate that with games they start to play with other people. And all of that is integration. It's not subjugation, it's not repression. Not if it's a good game, it's integration. You want to get integrated because then you have all the horses that are pulling your chariot pulling in the same direction. And you're much more likely to get to where you want to go then, and also much more likely to specify a good place to go.
Do you think that there's a usefulness in having a nemesis to motivate you? I try to avoid making enemies of people or groups or ideas or...
Don't make unnecessary enemies.
But there is an extra level of fire that gets lit underneath you when you're going up against someone. And I miss it sometimes. There's a price that you pay for peace.
Yeah, well, then you just have to look at yourself harder and find the nemesis, because it's there all the time, right? I mean, there's always parts of yourself that you can overcome. If you need something to grapple with, and you probably do, you can find that. You just look inside, you'll find something to grapple with. Inadequacy, weakness, susceptibility to temptation, narcissism, pride, envy, revenge, resentment, frustration, lack of faith, all of that'll keep you occupied if you really grapple with it. And that's an ancient theological question. What's up with the devil?
Why does the possibility of evil exist? Why is there an eternal adversary? Why would God construct a reality where an adversary exists? And maybe it's because, all things considered, a world with an adversary is a better world, just like a garden with a snake in it is a better garden. These things aren't easy to understand. No snake, no necessity to contend with snakes. So why be awake at all? No adversary, no challenge. Why be challenged? Because maybe you're better for the challenge. And maybe that's the challenge, to see if you can be better for the challenge.
But that should be internal.
Well, fundamentally, if it isn't, you'll find it externally, because you'll demonize someone to turn them into Satan so that you can find an adversary. And then that's very unfortunate for you and for them.
That's
and
the problem.
It's just not as big a battle. It's like you battle with someone external who's malevolent, let's say, or you think they are. And usually you've got that mostly wrong, but not always. But if the battle is inside, which is where it's supposed to be, most fundamental, then it's the ultimate challenge.
And that's the infinite game. The external one.
Battle between good and evil on a playing field of chaos and order. It's the eternal game.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
You say you are morally obligated to do remarkable things. What?
Fuck that shit. I stopped being friendly. I'm a real thug.
I walk in with my own heat, I don't need no extra. All that talking on the net, boy, you just a texter. Niggas acting like they steppin', really need a stretcher. I came up off dirty money, now my diamond club full of blue scripts, pockets got a limp. Bad bitch with me, she know I'm not a simp. Don't do no fake hoods, keep that shit from around me. Same niggas strain gang with the first ones acting cloudy. I was down bad, had to get it from the floor. Now they say I change cause I don't answer anymore. If it's smoke, keep it quiet, we don't put it in a post. Real ones don't do captions, they just know what they know. I got pain in my chest, but my face stay calm. I got love for my dogs, got hate for the frogs. If I gave you my last and you still did me wrong, I hope you feel this shit every time you hear my song. Stand on 10 everywhere I go, babe. Money on me to keep my eyes on the door. They gon' talk when you up there, how this shit go. If they really want pressure, let a nigga know. Don't do no run, big bad bitch, I whole thing get money. They say I tried to stop being friendly. I was broke once, I can't go back home. Just stand on 10 everywhere I go. I scream little fake, but the cash real low. If it ain't about money, what we talk for? Don't trust too much, I just ain't too much. They gon' say you act different when the paper get low. I was broke in the dark, now I'm lit like car. Jury hit like Vegas, pocket fat like child. I don't need a handshake, show me where your heart is. I got real money tucked in the floorboard. I got old friends, man, what they mad for? You was spending on hoes, I was stacking no more. Now you looking at my life like open your door. 2 phone jumping, I'm still on business. Clip in the picture, they know what I'm sipping. All old niggas learn to kill my distance. Everybody real to the pressure get different. If I fuck with you, I give you my last. But cross that line, I leave you in the past. Foreign car fast, I don't look at the dash. I'd rather pull out than explain why I'm mad. Bitch, I'm from the mud, still smell it on my shoes. Came from the ocean, now I pick and choose. They gon' judge anyway, win or lose. So I count this money and let them watch it. I rode a boat to the function, I'm smoking dope, this shit funky. I can't curse around that lady, but I smoke dope from the moment. Matter of fact, I smoke with her. She told me, son, you shit punk. She like, son, this blunt let me do that money, my third. Onion, everything we sell dope, they smell this shit up off they porch. And I just pulled up G-Wagon, C3 and more, you drive a Porsche. Day before they put a brown Rari, call that whore a horse. This bitch gon' ask me what I sell. Bricks, I told that whore, of course. No, I don't play with that boy. CEO status, I'm cool. Matter of fact, go Google me, Big Thudder, or Platinum record. Hellcat, Black Queen, Tesla, Platinum, I put it on Ford. Bulletproof, Escalade, V3 truck house, I move in that order. Go yard bag, 350, red and green patty, gets criminal. Take the helicopter, make 2 hours, feel like 20 minutes. Drop me at the island, meet my members in like 20 feet. 3 pints of red, 6 pints of water. It won't be a trip without trees. I roll the boat to the function, I'm smoking dope, this shit funky. I can't curse around that lady, but I smoke dope from the moment. Matter of fact, I smoke with her. She told me, son, this shit was punk. She like, son, this blunt let me do that money, my third. Onion, everything we sell dope, they smell this shit up off they porch. And I just pulled up G-Wagon, C3 and more, you drive a Porsche. Day before they put a brown Rari, call that whore a horse. This bitch gon' ask me what I sell. Bricks, I told that whore, of course. I learned to put that money up for breaking them racks out and shit. These niggas niggas ain't used to no one, they normally asking for shit. See rap shit for my fam, my kid ask me that dad gon' quit. Generational real, my son, grandson gon' be having shit. My bitch so bad every time we get alone, I knock her ass out. Look at her, you been not touch off the rip, blow your ass off. Backseat of that spaceship getting dome, I'm about to blast. Having threesome with the neighbor every time a hood and nag off. I rode a boat to the function, I'm smoking dope, this shit funky. I can't curse around that lady, but I smoke dope from the moment. Matter of fact, I smoke one, she told me, son, this shit is punk. She like, son, this blunt let me through that money, my third. The neighbor think we sell dope, they smell this shit up off they porch. And I just pulled a G-Wagon, C3 and more, you drive a Porsche. Day before they put a brown Rari, call they whore a horse. This bitch gon' ask me what I sell, bricks, I told that whore. No talking, bitch, no discussion, no fighting, don't do no tussle. Pay my young nigga to knock you, I roll you up in a rush. Get no fuck if it my family play with shots, they fuck my cousin. In the club with a Glock 26, regular clip, hold a dozen. It's nothing, I spent 40 to 100 on the go, I take my luggage. I'm not shy with the glizzy, no hesitation, no busting. This Glock 23 stuff right by my pelvis out in public. And I just pulled a trail, walk back, not pass me no tussle. Bitches up, stuff 15 in one pocket, fucked around and got it stuck. At 14 we ran up 20 off one mission, we had scrub. And all the jury don't mean shit, I take it, I don't get suited up. 30 say get to you fuck, them 762s ate them up. Niggas dissing from a distance, don't come outside, take it tough. Got the same bullets in your gun, you doing that shit for nothing. You see shots that in his night, it just mean that he my little son. In his AR shootout, AK bullets, this my favorite gun. And if I put you on the mission, don't come back until it's done. Free all my members that locked in the cage for murder ones. Just for them, we stand on top of shit, popping shit, throwing ones. Catch us serving like we sunny, got the strong and chronic. Tell run it, get my money, I keep shit with junkies.
Lurking.
You fuck cause I'm bumping. Oh, it cause you call me name and fuck it out of honey.
Les Brown.
Les Brown.
Yes, brother. Oh yeah, Rose is Dr. Les Brown, brother. That's right.
If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. If you do what is easy, complain about your situation, your circumstances. If you do what is easy, stand around and be a volunteer victim like everybody else. If you do what is easy, surrender and give up on your dreams, become depressed and bitter and angry. Anybody can do that. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, keep coming back again and again and again. If you do what is hard, approaching strangers, talking to people in shopping malls, get up dressed every day, going out prospecting, knowing some way, somehow, with a spirit of expectation, somebody's out here looking for an opportunity. You can go outside right now and see some pigeons, but you're out hunting for eagles, and they're not common. And if you do that over and over and over again, somebody's going to show up. Just acknowledge what's going on. It's called life, and keep on working on your dream. Continue to keep on knocking, because this is your life. This is what you love. This is your passion. Step back. Don't judge it. If you judge it, judge not yet, lest ye be judged. Why? Because when you judge it, you invest emotion in it, and that emotion could be anger, and guess what? That hurts you. That doesn't hurt anybody else. One doctor said, the man who angers me killeth me. And then he allowed someone to egg him into an argument on the floor of the National Medical Convention and suffered a massive heart attack. When you're in a state of that you have experienced, I don't care how devastated your life might appear to be, the shambles it might be in, there's a power in you that can enable you to be stronger and better than anything that's out here. One man came to the training, he was not here, and I knew he had a drinking problem, and he was looking at me, and I could smell alcohol on him. I said, excuse me, come here. He said, what is it? I said, let me tell you something. I want you to know you've got something in you that's stronger than that poison you're putting in your body. Do you understand me? And you're looking at backing up. He said, no. He said, something drew you here. And that has caused you to come. You said you want some help. And you need to be around some people that can help you get in touch with your power, because you know that your life deserves this. See, I think that the reason that we abuse ourselves with drugs and alcohol is that we're trying to numb something in us that's aching us, that's urging us, that's nagging us to do something bigger and better. It can't be because it tastes so good. That when we are deluding ourselves and polluting our minds, it numbs us where we don't have to face reality. Because we don't know what we've got going for us. See, once you discover who you are, the truth of knowing who you are will set you free from ever wanting alcohol, from ever wanting any kind of drug that's going to destroy who you are. See, it's easy to be on the bottom. It doesn't take any effort to be a loser. It doesn't take any motivation, any drive in order to stay down there at a low level. But it calls on everything in you, ladies and gentlemen. You have to punish your will. See, I'm going to challenge myself. Sometimes I have to pull myself out of bed and say, come on, folks. Things I know I should do, I don't do. Things I shouldn't do, I do. I found that the biggest enemy you have to deal with is yourself. As an old African proverb that says, there's no enemy within.
Please,
the
Daddy,
enemy
chill.
outside can do us no harm. You begin to look toward making this your decade as you begin to look toward making your life different. As you begin to look at yourself, you've got to redefine yourself. Who are you right now? And who must you become in order to create what you want? What has to change about you? What is it that you're doing right now that will be a liability for you? As you begin to look toward the
Drugs,
future and
gangs.
take inventory of yourself, what is it about you right now that you've got to leave this behind because this no longer fits? Looking at where you want to go and the kind of person that you must become, the kind of standards that you have for you. What is it that you must do differently? It makes sense unless you change your
buddy.
unless you change the way you're thinking, unless you change your behavior, you're going to continue to produce the results in your life. See, all of us are winners, but some of us are producing results that we don't want. And so all you have to look at your game plan, look at your strategy. How is it that you have been being? What is it that you've been doing to produce this? See, you're the director, you're the producer, you're writing the script, you're the star of your life.
Yeah, on camera. Look, hey, let's put them on a 10. Look, let's put them on a 10.
That's in your hands.
50 degree. It's just nothing but meat.
Nothing but meat, huh?
I'm telling you. Fucking do it, do it.
I got what you're saying.
And she wanted you to build a multi-million-dollar complex. Her name is Dr. Johnny Cole. Lenders and bankers say, you can't do that, you're too old. She ain't no. That building now stands, ladies and gentlemen, a multi-million-dollar structure.
It's really good
But there are
now.
a lot of people who would listen to that. There are a lot of people that do not even back to that point. They're talking themselves about even going down to the bank to ask for
awesome.
it. Because they've already said no to themselves. See, it's time now. If you want to make this your decade, you've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams. Yes to your unfolding future. Yes to your potential. As opposed to saying no. See, 87% of our self-talk is negative. So you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to say yes to your dreams. Why not? Why not me? Don't spend time like most people go through life complaining. You got to learn to let the past go so you can grow. Many people never act on their dreams because they allow their past experiences to determine what their possibilities are. Whatever you've done in the past, that's not a reflection of your possibilities. That's just a reflection of your consciousness. That's just a reflection of your development and your growth. The future is unfolding for you right now. The future is unlimited for you right now. No one knows where you can go. No one knows what you're capable of, what's possible for you. You don't even know that. I have no idea, ladies and gentlemen. No one can convince me that I was able
I like
to do
that.
this. I'll never forget, I was speaking in Detroit, and a high school friend of mine saw me afterwards. He was backstage. He said, I can't believe it's the same person. And I thought for a moment, and I said, it's not. The person you know, he's gone. We have the power to change our personal history, changing the direction of our lives, changing our thoughts, changing where we want to go, exploring new horizons. I think that it's very important that you start trusting yourself. listen to yourself. Listen to that still small voice within you. Don't try to make everything logical. There's some things about life that defies logic, that you just can't explain how the outcome is going to be. That once you begin to trust yourself and your instincts, life takes on a whole new
What
meaning
up,
because
dude?
now I want you to do that feeling that you are led. Just feel, I am led. I remember the worst speech
Right
I've
here.
ever given in my life. I let someone exploit a fear that I had. For years, I had a tremendous inferiority complex because I'm not college educated. And this person knew this. And she said, let me write this speech for you. You're going to speak at Ohio State University. Those people are very educated there, and they're going to know when you make grammatical errors, and they're going to know because of the substance of your speech that you are not literate. I care about you. I don't want you to embarrass yourself. So this person proceeded to write a speech for me. I had a speech in my mind, but this person was stronger than I was negatively than I was positive about my own thoughts. And I gave my power away. With my permission, I allowed this person to guide me to do something that I really didn't want to do. But I didn't feel enough inner strength and conviction about my skills as a speaker and the message that I had to bring to stick by my guns. And I got up there at the Ohio Union, and I read this straight speech and did not move and did not take my eyes off the page because I'm not accustomed to reading. And after I finished, some people gave me a standing ovation because I read it extremely well, and I was very tense and I was very nervous. Ladies and gentlemen, don't give your power away. You don't need anybody to approve your dream. It was given to you. If they can't see it, it's because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. Hold it, nourish it, cultivate it, work on it. It's yours. It's your baby. Work on it until it comes into fruition. I gave away my power, and I said, I'm not going to do that no more. Here's something else for those who make it today. Do what you know is right. Treat people like you want to be treated. Don't try and take any shortcuts. Don't try and cheat. Pay your dues up front. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, what goes around comes around. You can pay now, or you will pay double later. So do the right thing. There might be a tendency sometimes, because of the negative part of our consciousness and our own programming, for us to want to say, well, I just do it this time. It won't matter. Won't nobody know. Ladies and gentlemen, everything matters. And you know you're somebody. You know. I'd rather lose out on my dream doing the right thing than to cheat, trying to make a shortcut to get to my goal. I want to be able to look myself in the mirror. And that's what you want to do. There's no saying, judge a man not by what he does, but by that he doesn't have to do. And to judge the true quality of a man is what he'll do when nobody's looking. See, there's some good out there for you in the universe that has your name on it. And nobody can get your good. It has your name on it. They can't take your stuff. It's your stuff. So when you know that whatever you're seeking, it's also seeking you. You don't worry. You don't run scared. You don't think somebody's going to take it from you. You listen to your inner voice, and you always take the high road. There will be the tendency, the natural inclination to take the low road. You must resist that. Here's something else I encourage you to do if you want to make it today. Keep your agreements. Keep your agreements that you make, and establish a network of people who will also do that. Establish